Pika Pika! Gua! That's the sound you'll make right now if you hear about these Pokemon leaks. Welcome everyone to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by Affable Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Slowpoke Innes. We've got our other co-host here, Adam Cypher. Gumbert, how are you, Adam?
That's me from the Game Boy. That's Scyther from the Game Boy.
Oh, gotcha. That was... I surprised myself on that one, and I'm not going to lie. That sounded great. We've also got here our RAF regular. Alex, I think you do more than the both of us combined for this channel and show. I think I'm going to elevate you right now with an executive decision to co-host. I know you started as a RAF regular on this thing, and you asked specifically for that.
I didn't realize up until this point that I wasn't a co-host of the show. I've been putting that in all my summaries and descriptions.
Yeah.
Wow.
You specifically said I want to be a RAF regular and not a co-host. So now you are RAF.
What?
Yes,
you said
Adam.
an executive decision. There are two people on the board. Maybe one of them doesn't vote yes. So how do we resolve that issue?
Oh, but we are in America, which is historically favoring white men and their votes.
What does the Electoral College say about this decision?
How about...
I tell you what, Adam, you can go put your vote in, but you're going to have to wait 16 hours outside in the hot sun.
Can't have any water.
Can't have any water. No one can bring you water. And I'll tweet my vote
suggest
from the back of the
I was going to suggest, in the same way
Bugatti.
that Adam is Scyther, you can just say I'm a Pokemon called co-host. We're making up a new Pokemon.
Joining us is our new co-host, Alex Kozina. How are you?
Is that supposed to be Jigglypuff?
That was Jigglypuff, channeled through my body like a conduit for its spirit.
Okay.
That's the Jigglypuff whenever it like attacks you. Not like the singing Jigglypuff, because that one's like Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff. I'm just so good
That's
at
pretty good.
Pokemon,
that was actually really good.
Yeah.
Good job, Chad.
I know. We are here on twitch.tv/Affable Idiots right now. You might not know this, but if you're watching this right now, we're also here right now, which is 8:25 on the East Coast right now, but we are normally here around this time-ish. So just set your calendars at 8:15, hop on early, and just be waiting for us. Legs open, heart full. Papa John's. Tuesday mornings, though, you can catch us on demand on YouTube and podcast services at 9 a.m. Eastern Time as well. And then you can occasionally catch Alex Jigglypuff Kozina over on a different channel for something else. Alex, where can they find you for something else?
Yes, Kozi vs. Cooking still continues on, Season 6. We have 3 episodes under the belt, and we have 3 more ahead of us. You can join me on twitch.tv/KoziverLive and youtube.com/@KoziverLive. This upcoming Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be making a delicious recipe, spoilers, from the official God of War Cookbook of the 9 Realms.
Ooh.
So look forward to that. I actually did want to mention earlier, do we want to mention the potential programming update that we are bringing to this channel, or do we want to scuttle that till later?
We have to wait 16 hours for Adam to weigh in with his vote on that, because we have not heard from him. We've only heard from Joel and you.
Makes sense.
We'll update that at a later time.
Yeah.
After Adam has a chance to go to the polls in the hot sun.
Yeah, we'll bring him water bottles outside so that he stays dry.
You
will go to jail.
Can't do that in Georgia.
You will go to jail.
Yeah. Oh, no.
There was a whole Curb Your Enthusiasm season about it.
But can I do it if I'm Canadian? If I'm an outside official from another country?
I'm pretty sure you get shot on the spot if you're Canadian and you do that.
What?
Yeah. Trump's America screwed up everything in 2016. It's wild down here. So yeah, those are the things and places where you can find us. We have some things to talk about today. Because you want to do your thing pre-main quest, or do you want to do it like as a palate cleanser?
Yeah, actually, speaking of palate cleansers, today was Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, shit, that's
I know
today?
everybody in the world thinks about American Thanksgiving, but we do have Canadian Thanksgiving, which is typically celebrated in the middle of October. So this particular spread that you're looking at right here, sorry, audio-only listeners, you'll have to go to Twitch or YouTube to see this, is something that I enjoyed in the basement of a Slovenian church. We had a nice spread, a fantastic spread of sausages, roast beef, mashed potatoes, a little bit of horseradish, which was pretty spicy, so I didn't have a lot of it, but you had some great pumpernickel bread and 2 different types of coleslaw complementing it all. Real, just tasty stuff. It was definitely kind of an alternate Thanksgiving dinner to the kind of Thanksgiving dinner we typically enjoy, but just a very, very good time. So
And
as
if they weren't
all
a
pumped up
caricature
and full
enough,
today.
at this Canadian Thanksgiving, there was not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 cans of Canada Dry on this table in the photo. Perhaps more out of frame. Who knows?
100%. I had a can of Canadian Dry as well. Canada Dry as well. I mean, it is Canadian technically, but regardless, good stuff. Very tasty stuff. You guys, when you guys do your own Thanksgivings, you have to share your spreads on the podcast as well, and we will judge who had the best one.
We have American Dry over here. And also, I don't live anywhere close to my family. So mine will probably be like, I don't know, a piece of pizza. So
Oh,
we'll see. Well, that looks delicious, Alex. I'm glad that you got to go to a basement of a Slovenian church and celebrate Canada and whatever you all celebrate. I assume you don't celebrate us giving smallpox to the Native Americans like we do. What do you celebrate?
we celebrate a thankfulness for the harvest and a thankfulness for the people that we have in our lives that we love. And yeah, that's about it.
Very wholesome. Love it. Well, we're going to start talking about video game stuff now with our main quest. Pokemon leaks abound. This comes from Wesley Inpool at IGN. Y'all.
And just real quick for people tuning in who are like, ooh, I don't want to be spoiled on any potential future upcoming Pokemon things. We're not going to talk any specifics about any of the potential upcoming projects that might have been leaked in this, partially because we don't want to get spoiled ourselves, but also because there actually isn't that much information out there about some of these things. So just a heads up, like if you're like really sensitive and you're like, I don't even want to know the code name of this one thing, then maybe tune out of this segment, but we're not going to go hard into the spoilers, into the leaks of this.
We're not going to tell you about how in the next anime, Ash has an OnlyFans. And the new main character finds that OnlyFans and sees Ash just do horrific things to Jigglypuff. And then they spend the entire season on the road to the police station to figure out how to report this man. We're not going to tell you about that.
That's not far off from some of the leaks, but
yeah,
Jigglypuff was not involved in them.
Here's a recap from Wesley Inpool at IGN. Game Freak has issued a statement confirming that the company suffered a data breach. The company said its server was illegally accessed with 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employee names and email addresses accessed, but does not mention the Pokemon data that has emerged since. As reported by Nintendo Life, the data leak includes the code name of Nintendo's next-gen console, which is reportedly ounce, as in like 1 fluid ounce, or like I weigh 4 ounces. The codename of the unannounced 10th generation Pokemon game is reportedly codenamed Gaia, as in like Mother Earth Gaia. And the codename of the announced Pokemon Legends Z through A is Ikaku.
It is
Ikkaku. Ikaku.
Bukkake is something different.
Bukkake is it is a fun time for all involved.
That's on Ash's OnlyFans.
That's what Ash is doing with Jigglypuff in the leaked thing. A new Pokemon game codenamed Synapse is also reportedly mentioned. This unannounced game is said to be co-developed with another studio, with some reports indicating it is some sort of Pokemon MMO. And elsewhere, the source code for DS titles Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black 2, and White 2 have reportedly leaked, resulting in stolen, unused assets for Pokemon and even game music emerging online. Whoa, y'all.
Wow. This was, one of those things where initially when all this stuff started leaking, I was like, I'm going to try to steer clear of the leaks as much as possible. And I've not delved into some of the more spoilerish stuff about upcoming Pokemon games. I have spoiled myself to a lot of content concerning some of the older Pokemon games, scrapped Pokemon designs from the Gen 3, Gen 4 games, weird bits of lore that we didn't know about. The internet right now is just going ballistic over just a whole bunch of crazy, like, in-game lore stories written about a bunch of Pokemon doing some not so hot things with some humans of the Pokemon universe. I will not go into detail on what those stories entail. They are definitely readily available online for you to look them up.
On deviantart.com.
Probably not there because these are mostly text-based, although people have probably made deviations of them already. I do want to just say, real quick, Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo are, often the subject of a lot of scrutiny over how judicious they are at shutting down, Pokemon fan-made games. They just come in left and right, closing them down, issuing DMCA notices. A lot of reasons to be justifiably upset at them. Most recently they went after Pal World, and it's going to be really interesting to see how things turn out. And there could be some very serious, repercussions if they end up winning that case, which we'll see if that happens. In this particular case, though, I mean, they are totally obviously justified in this being, awful, absolutely kind of awful to them. And I do appreciate that in the statement that they issued, they, specifically highlighted the fact that their, employees' personal information got hacked, which is absolutely awful and unacceptable. Of course, them not mentioning the games and stuff like that does serve a dual purpose of they're also trying not to bring attention to that. But regardless, I do appreciate them highlighting that aspect of the breach. And it is pretty shitty that, by all accounts, the person responsible for leaking a lot of this information has basically been yeah, I'm not going to leak too much information about the upcoming Pokemon games for moral reasons, but employees' personal information,
yeah, right.
Whatever. Don't really care about that.
Sense of morality is a little skewed
that is
there.
some bullshit. Yeah, that is some bullshit.
I spent about an hour online last night on YouTube watching just reaction videos of people looking at all of the unused beta sprites from Gen 3 to Gen 5 Pokemon that were you could see old versions of some existing Pokemon, some versions of Pokemon that look like absolute garbage. Thank God this Pokemon never made it into the game. There's a lot of interesting, fun things to look at there, aside from, of course, all of the horrific employee things and spoilers for all of their upcoming games. But yeah, there's also there were some interesting strategies around TV shows and their movies and things like that too. I think what is most exciting to me is that there is a Detective Pikachu, or at least one time, a sequel to Detective Pikachu, in the works, which I think the time has passed for that, but man, that would have been fantastic.
And not only was there potentially a Detective Pikachu 2 movie in the works, but also, and I want to preface this by saying we will not be going into any specific spoilers about it, but there was a 24th Pokemon animated movie that was being worked on as well. It used to be that new animated Pokemon movies were coming out every single year, and sometimes we'd even get double features of made for TV Pokemon movies as well. And then after the 23rd one, which was called Secrets of the Jungle, I think that aired back in 2020, they stopped. And it's been a question for a couple of years now, will they make another animated Pokemon movie? Were they just no longer profitable? And the leaks reveal that, in fact, there were plans for another 24th Pokemon animated movie. And without getting into any details on it, it is very, very interesting. And I can see why this particular project either still is in development hell and or has basically been canceled by this point. And that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah. I think one last thing to note about the games, again, not spoiling anything about the games themselves, but the reason we know what the code name for Switch 2 is because Gaia, the 10th gen Pokemon game, has been mentioned in the leaks as in development for Ounce, the next generation Nintendo console. But there's also things in there that they have at least tested 10th gen Pokemon game on current Switch hardware as well. So we don't know whether it's going to be a cross-gen thing, if those tests were successful. I hope to God not, after the way that the past couple of Pokemon games have run on Nintendo Switch current hardware. I hope this is a next-gen only thing. But I understand that like there are 50,000 trillion billion jillion Switches in the world, and that's a large audience that you can get $60 from who are unaware and unassuming. So
I'm leaning on the side of I think this will be a cross-gen game. And I think it will. I think they will definitely take the criticism that people had of Scarlet and Violet to heart. I think it will look better than those games, but by how much better, we will certainly see.
Who knows? So that's out there. Just be aware. Be careful if you're conscious of spoilers. Maybe block some keywords on Twitter till it all dies down. And
did you, Adam? Did you check out any of this? Did you catch wind of any of this?
Well, I mean, I saw it. Cool. I don't care. I mean, it's interesting that obviously it's like some people get their information out there. Obviously, that's the worst part. I mean, it's interesting to see that stuff. I mean, it's just not a thing. Like, I'm not going to watch any of those movies. Actually, I am interested in some of the movie stuff because I did enjoy that first Detective Pikachu. But as far as the games and stuff, I don't care about that. The Switch thing, it's like, yeah, we know there's a new one, so them bringing a code name, cool. We knew it was coming. It's not like it's a big deal. So personally, I don't care, but cool. And not cool, but interesting.
Well, let's move ourselves into playtime where we talk about what we played this last week. Kozi, I want to start with you because you've got, I'm super curious on your cryptic tweet about a little princess named Zaldor. Tell me about it.
Zelda.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
it,
I
that's it.
beat The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and I can say pretty definitively, Chad, that this game is not a Game of the Year contender. But that isn't to
that's
say
great to hear,
that
actually.
it has. Well, that isn't to say that it has no redeeming qualities, but I understand from your perspective, it's like, great, another game that I don't have to run out and play,
Right.
which I can see how that can be liberating. So, when I first sat down to play this game, a couple of weeks ago, I was initially fairly positive on it. You can go back and listen to the episode where I first talked about it, and I was pretty, not like exuberant, but like, yeah, this game's pretty good so far. After that initial kind of period of positivity, my excitement really kind of soured over time and only kind of continued to go further and further into the game as I went. And, when I look back on my time with this game, I think initially I was pretty positive on the game for a couple of reasons. During the opening hours of the game is when you're most restricted in terms of the amount of items available to you. So a lot of the puzzles, required you to get a little bit more creative with the limited resources you had at your disposal, which I think made them a lot more fun. And also the opening of the game is front-loaded with a lot of the game's more interesting lore. And there's, at that point in time, a lot of uncertainty about where things are going that keeps things interesting, tantalizing. However, once you get past its opening hours, the game, I think, really falters in terms of both its gameplay and story lore. In terms of the gameplay side of things, the problem is that you just get introduced to a bunch of key echoes, like, for example, the water cube, which is like a literal cube of water you can instantiate in the world that you can kind of swim upwards inside of, that like kind of break the game in terms of just how useful they are proportionally to so many of the other echoes that you get. And it doesn't help the fact that the still world, which is like the dark world that you're traveling back and forth between, and so many of the other challenge areas that you travel to don't really do much in the way of forcing you to be creative with the echoes at your disposal. And also doesn't help either that the dungeons honestly lack a lot of the personality of prior Zelda dungeons. These dungeons are definitely not on the same level as something like Ocarina of Times, where Ocarina of Time has, inside the Deku Tree, inside Jabu Jabu, the giant whale, all these like just really creative environs. And it was just really frustrating because, like, I bring up the water cube as a specific example because when I acquired the water cube, I assumed, for sure, once you get to later areas of the game, they will introduce things to restrict how often that you can use it. Two of the later areas that you travel to in the game are Death Mountain, where it's very, very hot, and Heber Mountain, where it's very, very cold. And I assumed, once I get to Death Mountain, I bet that the game will not let me use the water cube because it'll just instantly evaporate. Or when I get to Heber Mountain, the water cube will instantly freeze, which makes it semi-useless as well. And that never happens. The game really doesn't kind of restrict you in terms of how it wants you to use a lot of these items, which is it's disappointing to say the least. Playing through this game, like the thing that I kind of kept coming back through after I beat this game is I really find myself actually appreciating Breath of the Wild a lot more after playing this game. Now, I know we all have our grievances with Breath of the Wild, and I did too for a very long time, until, I finally got into the game ahead of the release of Tears of the Kingdom. And, that game has its issues, what with its story being non-existent and it lacking iconic Zelda elements like dungeons. But the thing about that game that I really came to appreciate, and that I appreciate even more now after having played Echoes of Wisdom, is how much of a great job Breath of the Wild does at both encouraging you to be creative with the solution to puzzles, while also not restricting the ways in which you can be creative. The central paradox of Echoes of Wisdom is that it does a great job of not restricting the ways in which you can be creative, but it does a poor job of actually encouraging you to be creative. In Breath of the Wild, even something like magnesis, which is the ability that allows you to control things with magnetism, probably the most useful ability you gain in that game, is only like a fourth or a fifth as useful as something like the water block in Echoes. You can't be over-reliant on a few techniques to solve your issues in Breath of the Wild, but in Echoes of Wisdom, like, you really can, and it, I think, kind of ruins the game. All that said, and I really do want to get this point across, like, even though the echo mechanic isn't very balanced, it can still be very fun to play around with. I think a lot of this game's legacy will be people on Twitter posting their videos of them using the echo mechanic in all sorts of crazy ways. I saw a video of a guy that like put their horse on like a thing of wood, and then they put like a fan behind the horse, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! I made a little portable boat for my horse." It serves no practical purpose. There's no circumstance in the game in which you would need to use that, but I think it's just really fun and cool, and it's great that the game allows you to do that. The problem is that the rest of the game is just that the rest of the game built around these toys is just not very compelling. And yeah, just real quick, touching on the story. Again, the story doesn't really go in a lot of really interesting directions. I think that Tri, which is your companion character in the game, she's the, I believe it's actually a he, which is like the little droplet shaped character that like enables your ability to create echoes of things. Just not a very compelling sidekick character, especially considering that the Zelda series, I think, has such a great legacy of sidekick characters like Midna, like even Fi from Skyward Sword, like Ezlo from the Minish Cap. Ezlo, like, that guy was like really expressive, both in terms of the language he used and also in the way that he animated. And Tri, by comparison, is just so incredibly dry. And just the way that Tri even walks around and moves through the world, it felt like watching Tri move around the world. I'm like, this is almost like when you manipulate an object's location in a 3D modeling software like Blender. It's just, Tri all in all is just not very compelling. And so, yeah, like I said at the top, this is not a game that you have to play for Game of the Year. I can still see you potentially enjoying it, Chad. It's not a game you have to run out and play immediately.
It's only 20 hours, Chad.
It might be like a 20 years from now we do it on a barf.
20 years.
And just like we did for Minish Cap. And
that would actually be an interesting thing, is going back and playing this game a few years from now. That would be actually really interesting, because it'd be interesting to see if I feel even more confident in my opinions of the game right now, or if I'm like, I was actually wrong about this one. That will certainly be interesting to do at some point in the future, if we ever do that. So that was the big game I wanted to talk about. However, I do also want to share just a couple of early impressions of Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, real quick, I know it's a little bit hard sometimes to read some of the other games that other people have been playing. Adam, I see that you have MR included in your list of games you've been playing. Have you been playing this game as well?
Well, I think the initials are to obscure what that truly is. I think that's the point of it.
But have you been playing it?
Yeah, I've been playing it. Yeah.
Okay. Very early on in this game, I'm making my way through the first like major dungeon to keep things spoiler light. And so far, like, I'm really enjoying this game. this was initially not a game that I really had on my radar as something I desperately needed to play this year. I really, back in the day, got into the Persona series circa like 2014. I played the crap out of Persona 4. I also played Persona 3 and a ton of these spin-offs back in the day, like Persona Q and the fighting games. Played a little bit of Persona 5 Vanilla not too long after its initial release, but stopped playing early on, partially because that was definitely during the period of my life where I really started to just kind of become soured on these super long games. And as much as I was enjoying Persona 5, I was like, the prospect of seeing this game through to completion is going to take a lot of hours of my life through, and I'm not sure that I want to kind of fully commit to that. Metaphor ReFantazio, going into it, I knew that this is going to be an overly long game. High fantasy is also not something that I'm especially drawn to when it comes to my video gaming. When this game got rave reviews, I was like, you know what? This is definitely a game that I'll probably want to have on my bucket list if I'm trying to play a bunch of Game of the Year contenders for this year. And honestly, I've been disappointed by a lot of games recently in terms of their story content. Echoes of Wisdom, Prince of Persia. I've been craving something that has a really great story, really great writing, really great characters. And to be honest, I've not really played a whole lot of super long games in 2024. The only other game that really matches this game in terms of scope would be FF7 Rebirth, which we hint, recently did a spoiler cast on. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out, grab this game, see how it sticks. And so far, this game is just incredibly fun. I am enjoying it so much, so slick, so stylish. I know this is, obviously not new at all to people that have been enjoying the Persona games over the past several years. But man, this game is just great. And it being a high fantasy game has definitely not been a deterrent to me getting into its world, its lore, its characters. This game is just a ton of fun so far.
It's currently sitting at a crisp 92 over on OpenCritic, which is good news for me. Yes, it is.
Also, my glasses are fogged up. I'm going to have to defog them.
Adam, what are your thoughts on?
You can switch to someone else. You don't have to.
Let's just look at Kozi take his
glasses.
Fog off.
No, look away. Look away. I will sink down, out of view, out of sight.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, so it was based on, again, I got a lot of good reviews. I have it on one of my fantasy critics as well, chat. So I was like, oh, look at these scores, baby. I love that. And then, so a guy I met at PAX West, Black Viking on Twitter, has been talking about this game for months now. Like, it's his favorite game, yada, yada. He's going on about it. I was like, all right, you're saying this. The reviews are well. It's from a team that makes good stuff. I'm like, let me try the demo. Because that demo is the first 5 hours of the game and your progress carries over. So I was like, you know what? Everyone's into it so much. I'm not going to buy it, but let me try that demo first. And I'm super into it. I'm with Kozi. I'm like, fuck, I got to buy this full game now. Yeah, it's really, really good. It does the thing where obviously it's from Persona team, and a lot of the stuff is very Persona, where it's like, oh, when you go to sleep, you go to a magic room that only you can go to, and it's got all of that shit, but it also cuts out all the bullshit. Like, as much as I like Persona, like having to keep up with the school schedule and then all these personas, it's basically a Pokemon game on top of it. And this game is like, how about we focus all that where it's the same stuff, but you just do it instead of having to write down a schedule on how to do it all. And I like it a lot. And the combat's really good, really fun. Music is incredible. It's an anime-ass fucking story, whatever, that's fine. But it's really grabbed me. And I'm out at the end of the demo now, which takes you, I think, through the first major dungeon. And once I'm finished with that, I'm like, shit, I hate that Dragon Age is 2 weeks away because I can't play both of these games back to back. But I'm definitely going to play Metaphor at some point, the full game. And it's only 70 hours. So I'm like, I can do that compared to, Persona 5 is 150. It's fucking, it's a video game. So I'm like, that's enough of a time that I want to actually fully invest. But no, that game's fantastic. Holy shit. I was not expecting it. And that demo, again, if you're a little bit interested, there's a free demo. It is 5 fucking hours of the video game, and your progress carries over. So I would suggest everyone try that out. It's definitely the thing where it's slow for the first hour or two, but it's a 70-hour game, full whatever. But once you hit that point, it's like, yeah, the game really gets cooking, and it's I enjoy it a lot. I don't know
why in my brain this game was a PC and Switch exclusive game, but instead it is everything but Switch.
Yeah, there you go. Nailed it. Yeah, it's on everything. So
yeah, and it's not this game is really beautiful. It has great art direction, but it's not the most technically insane game of all time. I'm sure that Metaphor will eventually make its way onto some Nintendo console in the future.
Yeah, maybe
and I
next
will
year.
also
By ounce.
yeah, maybe next year.
Ounce price.
And I will also say too, to Adam's point earlier, like, yes, the opening is like a little bit slow, but like it definitely, the Persona team has definitely made strides since a lot of the kind of earlier Persona games. I remember a lot of those early Persona games being a little grueling, and like this is definitely a huge step above that. Not to say that you shouldn't expect a slow opening, but like the game is really good at seeding a lot of intrigue even early on that kind of pushes you forward.
Well, I'm saying there's an anime game, and Adam doesn't like anime games. That has a slow start. Adam doesn't like that, and I'm fucking into this game. So that tells you the game's good. Because I'm willing to put up with
There we
that
go.
bullshit to be like, yo, no,
There
it's
we
good.
go.
That's fucking song, dude. That one of the, oh man, so fucking good.
And by the way, before people correct me, I am aware that the team that developed this game is not Persona team. I am aware that it's a team of people that worked on the Persona games, but they're called something else. Thank you. Moving on.
Called Persona Team. As in
It's something
Persona.
else.
Something with a
not
zero.
people. Zero. Tell me about, what is this? IN? Indiana Jones and the
Metaphor
Golden Circle? The Great Circle?
Fantasio. Do what now?
What is IN on your list?
Give me 1 second. I'm seeing who made it. Just
It
to, like,
is
prove-
Studio Zero.
Studio Zero, Team Zero, whatever, same thing. Oh, IN. So I've just been playing the same thing, a lot of NCAA, whatever, doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But Inscription just got it added to Game Pass, and obviously as the person who
hell
played
yeah.
Inscription before anybody and was always the person who talked about it, I was like,
Adam,
you know
should
what?
definitely play this game now that it's on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, for sure. The first
And
time
like,
I've ever played it.
Definitely don't feel like you got what it is and quit before the first boss.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I was waiting for you to tell me everything about Inscription because you're the one who knows it all. That's an inside joke for longtime listeners. No, so I was just like, because on Xbox I like to do the thing where it's like you got to earn an achievement every day and you get free points to spend on the store. Basically, I'm trying to earn enough points to buy Dragon Age for free. So I'm like, let me do these stupid fucking Microsoft Quest. And I was like, yeah, what a fun game. It's spooky time. It's a brand new save file because I played it on PC before. It was on Game Pass. So I was like, yep. So I've just been messing around with Inscription. Still an excellent video game. What do I tell you? Still good this year.
Mm-hmm.
Game of the year 2024. Let's just keep doing it every year. Put it on a list. But no, I've just been having fun with that on a controller. So good times.
Nice. I've been playing a couple of things that I just now decoded some of my acronyms here to figure out what they were. We'll start with PB, which is Pokemon Black. I'd mentioned a while ago that I got the backbone, got the backbone thing for my phone, so I could play AirPlay with the DS games and the lower screen on the phone and the top screen on the TV. Well, I'm getting back into the fitness game, doing some long, slow distance cardio stuff, where it's like not sprinting or stuff like that, but just like doing stuff that keeps your heart rate up for like 45 minutes to an hour, and that can get really fucking boring. So I mentioned this last week on the podcast, this little 8-bit dough controller, this little guy. Well, I stopped just using it as a clicky fidget toy, and now I'm using it also as an actual controller for the Delta app on my iPad. And I just have my iPad vertically on the treadmill, so the screens are stacked on top of each other. Got this in one hand, and I'm like moving around with the D-pad in one hand while I'm walking, and then I'll switch it to the other hand if I need to like hit A 1,000 times to get through the Pokemon Center lady's dialogue, and then I'll come in the middle and do both, and we're fighting, and it's like, it's a pretty good time. I just beat the first gym there. I'm enjoying this game compared to modern Pokemon games because people leave you the fuck alone. Like, one of my biggest criticisms of Sword and Shield, I think it was I played like 3 hours of it, and people would not stop. I would stop every 10 seconds in that game. Like, someone would listen to me talk about the fucking Pokemon League. Listen to me talk about Charizard. He's my favorite. And then I walk 3 more steps.
soccer hooligans. Look at me.
And it's just like let me walk 5 feet and have a thought to myself for a second. But this one, yeah, it's pretty well paced. I'm not loving the variety of Pokemon that I have so far in the first few hours of the game. It's basically just like Lillipup, the dark purry cat, Purloin.
Oh yeah,
Purloin.
Purloin, correct.
Patrat.
Patrat.
That's right. It's like that's right because it's patrol, like safety patrol. Patrat, and then Watchhog is a safety patrol. Yeah, Watchdog, like groundhog.
There was like a guy that wrote an article a couple of years ago that basically did like Google search algorithm stuff to determine like what is like the least popular Pokemon of all time by just people searching for it, people generating content of it.
Yeah.
And Watchog was number one.
I wonder why. First, because it's a fucking narc. And second, have you seen that thing's eyeballs? Anytime I see it on the screen, it's like, I just want to stop looking at the screen right now. It's fucking red and yellow. It's nasty.
Real weirdo. Are you going to play Black/White 2 after you play this game?
We'll see if I even get through this game. So,
Do you steal the source code?
I did. I was the leaker. It was me.
Black/White 2 are interesting in that there are some of the only Pokemon games in the entire series that are like a direct sequel to the game that they directly came before. All the other Pokemon games are like, oh, this is going on in another region, or oh, this is the same story but told with like some extra content. But those actually follow up on a lot of the characters and plot points of the first game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So two things for you real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, okay. So I've never played Black. I did because I stopped after Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
So is that generation in Black and White good? And then I'm also looking at a picture of Watchog, and this is just like a Dr. Seuss fucking snitch character. Like this guy is like he's Hell's on Cat in the Hat to the parents or something. Like this guy's a punk.
Yep. I don't know about. I know that this was the first generation where everything was new, right? Where it was like no reused Pokemon or something like that. Yeah.
Basically, they did a reboot where instead of playing as a combination of new Pokemon and old Pokemon, they completely scrapped all the old Pokemon, and then you start with 156 new guys, and you can only get the old guys once you get to the post game.
Yeah. I'm missing some of the modern, like the modern features that make it a little bit easier to play, like everyone getting experience in your party rather than having to do that thing where you start a battle with one Pokemon and then immediately switch to another in order to level them up.
Yeah, I don't want to do that shit.
And also the like menus to the number of button clicks to throw a Pokeball is like 5 or something like that. It's in order rather than like on the modern ones where it's like, oh, it's just mapped to a button, which I think is like R or something like that. So it's so there's some quality of life things that it's taken a step backwards, but I'm enjoying it so far. I also really like that before in the town where you fight your first gym, the first gym is all like it's all about making you fight whatever you're weak against. So if you've got the fire Pokemon, then the gym leader that you fight is the water person. If you got the water Pokemon, then the gym leader you fight is the grass Pokemon. But then, like, before you even go fight that gym, they're like, hey, go over to this little thing over here to the right. And there's just a person who's just going to straight up say, what Pokemon did you get at the beginning? Fire? Oh, you're weak to water. Well, here's a grass Pokemon. Here's Pansage. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, let me beat the boss real easy with that then.
Teaching you about weaknesses, baby, because you're a stupid 6-year-old.
Yeah.
You need the help.
So they didn't even, unlike the original games where it's like, oh, you chose fucking Charmander? Good fucking luck fighting this Geodude and Onix from Brock. Because your fire attacks don't do shit. So yeah, playing that. Also, Alex alluded to this. We did the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth spoiler chat, which is RBSC on this, Rebirth spoiler chat. We did that last night with Jericho Hanna from JK Games. In fact, we kind of like did a crossover. We streamed to their Twitch channel. Kyle Cosper was there as well, who had a lot of really like the ending of that game confused the hell out of me, but I was still like, this is fucking cool, right? Yeah, this is awesome. I don't know. I don't quite get it, but and then he was explaining some things at the end, and I was like, holy shit, I have goosebumps 14,000 times in 5 minutes from him talking. So if you have finished Rebirth, go ahead and check that out. Lots of spoilers there. We do not spoil, however, any of the what's left to come from the original game. So we're not giving any kind of spoilers for unreleased trilogy parts of this.
Where's that going to be? Because I stepped in for like the first 5 minutes and then bounced. So where can me and the listeners?
It is already up on podcast services right now. The YouTube version should be done processing and live right now as well. And then
on Respawning Fire.
Yeah, on Respawning Fire. I also sent those files to Jericho, and it will be on JK Games as well shortly.
Nice.
So.
Kyle really came in clutch on that episode with just a lot of theories, a lot of details that the rest of us had missed that I think really enriched the conversation. That was a really great spoiler cast. I think that if anyone here in our audience, enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or just enjoys these sorts of more spoilery, in-depth discussions, you should definitely check this episode out.
So that's out. We also have Destiny 2 Vesper's Host, brand new dungeon this weekend.
I've been seeing a lot of tweets about this for some reason.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time they had a world's first competition and a contest mode for this one. Usually they just save that for the raids, but they did that with this dungeon. What I love that they did this time, that I hope they do for future raids, is once the contest is done, like once the people have beat it for the first time, it unlocks the ability for everyone else in the world to do just normal ass mode. So you don't have to struggle through contest mode, which a very small percentage of people ever actually beat it on, and then wait 48 hours before you can try normal ass mode. It's like, oh, cool. If somebody beats it in the first 4 hours, awesome. Everyone can do the regular ass good mode of this thing in after 4 hours. So that was really cool. This dungeon, this team just keeps cooking. I don't know how they do it with all the people they keep throwing away, but they keep cooking. Like, this was a fantastic dungeon. Just so many cool, just like visuals, like these amazing vistas. You're in this busted ass space station from Deepstone Crypt raid with the Beyond Light expansion, and now there's all sorts of wild shit happening on it. But it's just so good. Really interesting, cool mechanics as well that have it's similar Deepstone Crypt mechanics, but also they have a twist due to the lore implications of what's going on the thing now, that those mechanics work differently. It was a really cool integration there. So I enjoyed the hell out of that. Jerica and Andre and I played that, figured everything out ourselves, didn't need to look anything up, which is surprising considering some of those mechanics were there's a part where you have to shoot numbers, and you have to shoot specific numbers, and you have to figure out what those numbers are in a very specific way. But we had no idea what we were doing. And there was a part where for a good 20 minutes, the number 9 works. We don't know why, but you shoot the number 9 and it works. Maybe it's I bet it's one of those things we have to dial 9 to get out, and then you can type the rest of the phone number. We just have to figure.
Is that what it is?
And we ran with that for 20 minutes. That was not actually the case.
Oh, okay.
But we were like, that has to be it. That has to be it. It's 9 what? All right, let's do 9-1. Boom, we die. 9-2. Boom, we die. But yeah, we figured it all out. It was fun.
Well, the real fun thing, though, about that, you're talking about art style and shit. I know I'm leaning off camera while I'm talking. So I was listening to Kinda Funny, and Andy brought it up. And then I was listening to another podcast, and they also brought it up. But, Destiny 2's art direction is fucking wild. Between Final Shape and then what you're talking about, this new one, it's yo, this game pretty. We need to pay more attention to give those artists some... Don't lay them off. Give them a raise because they're making good shit.
Yeah, do the opposite. Yeah. We'll talk about more in that in a second. And then the last thing on this list, LKV, Leon Kennedy in VR. Y'all, I did it. The other night, I was like, I'm kind of at a point where I'm going to hold off on a Wukong New Game Plus. Don't want to do the hard mode Rebirth playthrough. What do I want to do right now? Let's play some fucking Resident Evil 4. It's Spooky-tober. And I boot up this thing in VR, which, by the way, is a pain in the ass to figure out how to do. Because the icon of the game on your PS5 has the VR icon on it. It says on VR. And then you have to actually download the VR, patch. Not a patch, but like a DLC. It's a free DLC. But if you go to the game page from within the game, where it's go to the store to download DLC, it's not listed anywhere on there, and you have to go to actual game page on the PlayStation 5 store, and then go all the way down to the add-ons and go over, and it's at the end of the stupid menu. So it took me about 30 minutes to figure out how to play it in VR and not just in theater mode in my VR headset. But once you do, y'all, this game is so good. I've played this game 3 or 4 times, not the remake, but original Resident Evil 4. And I played it first on Wii, and there's the quote unquote immersion where you can swing your Wii remote, you just waggle it, and Leon will swing his knife. He won't actually match your movement direction or anything like that. He'll just swing his knife. And then you get into this thing, and there are special knife finishers where basically if an enemy is down, it has R2 above their head, and you take out your knife. You take it out by, of course, grabbing. It's on your left chest. So you like go over there, grab the knife off your chest. You hold R2 to flip it upside down, like Michael Myers style. And then you have to just fucking stab with your hand. And it is just like super satisfying. And also you're like, oh, this is what serial killers feel like when they're, you start with video games. And then you go to small animals, and then you go to people. So I'm in the
Maybe
video
it's just
game
muscle
phase
memory.
right now.
Maybe you had an interesting high school life, and that's just muscle memory for you.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I blacked out a lot of things, and this is actually, I am Michael Myers, and I've killed people all along, and this is now just making me realize it. But no, so that part of it's really interesting. There's this, the way that you reload your weapons is also so intricate. And at first, I was turned off by it completely. And I almost, in the menus, there's a way to just like simplify the reload process. You can just click a button and it'll say, cool, we'll do it. But I was like, no, let me try it out for a little bit. So basically, you have a few spots on your body that you can customize where things are. And by default, your grenades are your right chest. Your knife is left chest. Kind of by your left hip on the front is your ammo pouch. And then your pistols on your right hip in front. And then you, right now I don't have a ton of weapons, so there are empty spots on the sides of my hips, and I have a shotgun on my back over my right side. And so each weapon reloads differently based on the kind of weapon it is. So I have my pistol out, and you can do your like hold it with two hands kind of thing. You shoot 10 shots. And of course, it's VR and all that kind of shit. So like even though like eye down the barrel and lining up the sights and that kind of shit works, and you shoot 10 shots, and then you have to hit a button to eject the magazine, and then you have to pick up a magazine out of your ammo pouch. You have to slide it into the gun, so you have to shove it into the bottom of your gun, and then you have to cock the gun, and then go back to shooting. And even in just like that first part of Resident Evil 4 in the town with the clock tower and the chainsaw guy for the first time, just running around reloading your weapon like that is so frantic. But then also you feel like fucking John Wick when you get that shit down, when it's muscle memory. You're just like, boom, eject the thing, reload, cock the gun, bang, 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 eject the thing, reload, cock the gun, bang, 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 and it feels so good. And then of course the shotgun is, you do that slightly differently. You're out of bullets on the shotgun, you have to then go grab the bullets out of your thing, reload it, cock the gun, shoot it, cock the gun, shoot it. And I can't imagine all the different ways that this is going to like reloading all these other guns, but it's super cool and immersive. And of course it looks fucking stunning. There is a little bit, when PSVR 2 came out, I remember we were all like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like there's literally zero screen door effect. And it's such an improvement over PlayStation VR 1. And then now that I have a Vision Pro, going back to the PlayStation VR 2, I was like, oh, this is not 4K on each eyeball right now. There is a noticeable screen door effect still. Not necessarily even a screen door, but like this, I don't know, it feels like there's this grain filter over the whole thing. But the visuals themselves are still stunning, even in VR, which is amazing. So having a ton of fun with that. And I'm just got to the end of chapter 1. This used to be a 5-chapter game, but apparently the remake is a 16-chapter game. So I don't know where the delineations are, but I'm at the end of chapter 1.
So Chad, whenever you decide to invite me and Kozi to your home, you need to let us play. Because I have not played a ton of VR, but the way that people explain using guns in VR, I'm like, fuck, that sounds fun. Even if I'm just running around shooting stupid stuff, that sounds like a great time. I've only ever used a lightsaber in VR, so I would like to use a gun, is what I'm saying.
It's pretty awesome.
So invite us to your house for Thanksgiving.
Done. Perfect. And we'll send Kozi pictures of pizza.
Yep.
I was a little like, I don't know, sus at how it would feel holding a two-handed weapon. Because with PlayStation VR 1, you had the PlayStation aim controller, which is like a two-handed gun controller that you hold. And so I was like, how's this going to feel holding a shotgun with two hands without anything in between, like actually making them feel like they're connected? But something about the way that your hands snap to the weapon and then the weapon follows your hand, I don't know, it just feels so natural. So having a ton of fun with it. Can't wait to play more. And I've only had like 2 moments where I literally just screamed, oh my fucking God, and something like that. So having fun. That's it. That's all I played this week. We're going to move on now to the quest log, where we have one quest here. Speaking of Destiny, a new game for Chad to play. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. The long-anticipated mobile game set in the Destiny universe has been announced. And that came in this morning. Destiny Rising is a free-to-play sci-fi RPG shooter for iOS and Android devices, which is being developed and published by NetEase Games under license of Bungie. The first closed alpha test is scheduled to begin on November 1st in the US and Canada. NetEase Senior VP Ethan Wang claimed the game will, quote, deliver a Destiny-caliber experience to mobile devices. Terry Redfield, creative lead at Bungie, added, quote, for over a decade, we've built this universe to contain many unique and wonderful stories, and we are excited to see mobile gamers be able to experience this new take on the Destiny universe from the creative team at NetEase. This shit is... I have signed up for the alpha, the pre-alpha test or whatever it is. They're picking people at random based on your answers to a survey. It's like, how old are you? Fun thing from the survey too. They ask all sorts of questions like, what types of mobile games do you like to play? What types of video games do you like to play? And then it asks, how many hours in Destiny do you have? And then, how old are you? And they have like, all right, I'm 18 to 24, 24 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, 40 or older. So basically, if you're 95, if you're elderly, if you're dead, or if you're 40, that's all the same in their eyes. So
I mean, that is how demographic works.
You.
The minute you're over 35, we don't give a shit about your money. Straight out. Like, you do not matter.
I am right now watching the trailer for this game for the first time because I saw this popped up and I was like, don't have any interest in playing this, but figured I might as well now for the podcast. This is a 3D game, right? There's no 2D segments in this?
This is a 3D game playable in either first or third person. You have a choice. There's a developer documentary, not documentary, but like just talk about it from NetEase. It was like 15 minutes that came out. So it's first or third person. It is set in an alternate Destiny timeline right after the Dark Age, which means Guardians aren't really a thing right now. Like, there is no Warlock, Hunter, Titan. Like those sects of Guardians have not really emerged yet. We're all kind of discovering what light is, and people are being resurrected by ghosts, and we don't really understand what that is yet. But it is, it straight up looks like if they were to get Destiny to run on like a Nintendo Switch Pro. Like, it does not look as good as like a console, but like, it is a fully 3D, supports controllers. They're saying they're going to have all sorts. They're going to have PvP, PvE. They're going to have 6-person strikes. So you can get a 6-person fire team together and do all these strikes. They're going to have a whole campaign around it. It is there are a ton of like Destiny weapons and supers. There's brand new types of supers and abilities to use in this thing as well. And it looks wild. And it's all free to play. And they are saying it is not a gacha game like Genshin Impact. Like, there's not going to be that kind of like loot box, try to roll 5-star waifus, that kind of stuff.
I would have loved that, though. Can you imagine rolling like, oh man, I need a 5-star Zavala. I need a 5-star the dude with the chalice that we couldn't beat that one time. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
The guy,
and Jericho's dog.
You shoot his chalice. Yeah. Anyways, this game, I will say, like, no interest in playing this game. Probably never will play this game. Looks pretty impressive. Also definitely seems a little chippier than I think the Destiny universe I'm used to. Obviously, the Destiny universe, isn't like completely grisly and grimdark. It has a lot of color and personality to it, but this you can definitely tell that it's made by a slightly different team with slightly different objectives than like the core Destiny experience. But I'm happy you're happy.
You can definitely tell from the developer document, like this is a NetEase developed game. This is not a Bungie game. This is a NetEase game with Bungie, assets and lore and that kind of stuff. Fun fact, a friend of a friend used to work at Bungie and got laid off a few months ago, and they tweeted today, oh, look, the thing that I worked so hard and now I've been laid off from finally shipped today, or got announced today. I can talk about the thing that I'm no longer able to work on. So
how long do you think it will take before we get the Nier Automata crossover with this game?
I don't know.
Because that's the joke. Is like
Bungie's not outside of doing like they've done Assassin's Creed crossovers, Witcher, Ghostbusters. Yeah, all sorts of things.
The joke is basically at some point in its life cycle, every single mobile game gets a crossover with Nier Automata and Persona 5. Like every single mobile game has, oh look, check it out, Joker and Anne and 2B and 9S are now in the game. So you can probably look forward to that soon, Chad.
They're definitely all in Genshin Impact for sure. By the way, two things. Funny that gacha is a type of game that sounds like gotcha, like got your ass.
Right.
I got you to spend money, but it's
I didn't know
technically
until like 2 years
word.
ago that it's not like gotcha as in like, ha ha ha, got you to spend money, but it's like
unfortunate word
GATCHA.
spelling. Yeah. I thought the game looked interesting. I was like, there's no way that it was like, is this like a real like first person shooter? And it was. And NetEase, I enjoy their games. They make pretty good quality stuff. So I think this actually has a pretty good chance of being good. I mean, like Call of Duty Mobile is great, Fortnite Mobile is great, PUBG Mobile. Like you can do a first person shooter on mobile, no problem. Especially because I'm just going to use the controller anyways and cheat.
Yeah.
So interested, free to play, not a bad thing.
I think I'm not seeing this as like I'm going to play this long term. I don't have room in my life for a second Destiny to play alongside the regular Destiny that I already play. The thing that interests me most, though, is just like from a lore perspective, like what's going on in this alternate timeline and this part of Destiny. This like a part of Destiny we've only like seen in select cutscenes and stuff like that to actually play through what is the Dark Age and us figuring out what Guardians are and harnessing the light and that kind of stuff seems interesting.
I mean, the guy speaking is the dude who played the Final Fantasy Crisis Core mobile awful game, just so you could see like what's the new storyline with Sephiroth. So like you're one of those people for sure. What was that game called? That really, really bad Final Fantasy mobile game?
I don't know. But that one was a gacha game. And there was every 2 seconds in that thing, there were giant splash screens telling you, buy these things, roll this 5-star waifu, upgrade your weapon to a 4-star waifu weapon, whatever.
No, not the soldier. It was literally just like a story game.
Good.
No, it was like a story game.
No, it was not First Soldier. It was,
God
damn, what was it?
It just retold the stories of the other games.
Crisis.
Ever Crisis.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So, yeah, look forward to that. I hope I get into the pre-alpha on November 1st, but if I don't, I guess I'll die.
Yeah.
Guess I'll turn 40
guess what?
and
I tried to get
dead.
into an NetEase alpha 3 times and I never got in, so just good luck.
Well, all right. We're basically dead now. Alex, the podcast is yours. All right, and with that, we are done with our quest log. We are ready to jump into our segment from Adam segment. Boom, boom, segment from Adam segment. That's the Riders of Rohan from Lord of the
According
Rings.
to the show notes
Howard
document,
Shore.
this segment from Adam is just called Yes.
Yes.
No, I only wrote that because somebody put a marker on it. What we're actually doing today, it's been a while, everybody.
Uh-oh.
Playing 6 Degrees.
Oh, sizzle my bacon.
But here's what we're doing, though. I'm going to give you the actual title at the end of it because I don't want to give away spoilers. There are potential spoilers in this. Let's just say we're playing 6 Degrees of Agatha All Along. That's what we are playing this week.
Okay. This being John Malkovich.
Yeah, put him at the end. The idea of the 6 Degrees game is I have a movie, a show, or something like that with actors in it. I go through the actors, and then I connect them to video game voice actor performances. So again, the normal game, Kevin Bacon was in this movie with this director who's married to this person who wrote this movie. That's how this person related to Kevin Bacon. This idea is people from Agatha All Along, the new show on Disney Plus, way better than I expected. I was not expecting much. I actually kind of fucked with that show.
Literally everyone says that, but I'm not vibing with it at all.
I'm into it.
I've seen the first 3 episodes. It's I don't dislike it. Watching the show, it kind of feels like everybody's done that like weird drawing game where like you fold a paper into a bunch of different folds and then you draw like one part of it and then you fold it over and then the other person draws the other part of it. That's what the show kind of feels like. It's like every single episode we're in a completely different situation doing something completely different. Thematically, tonally feels completely different. I mean, I will see it to the end, but it's weird.
You should watch episode 4. Maybe there's a big twist at the end of it. Anyway,
shout out to we're being rated right now by CG Danny B's crew. Shout out!
Whoa.
You joined at the perfect time for this Kevin Bacon, Agatha Christie, Agatha All Along trivia game.
Yeah, we're doing a game where I'm going to describe people who were in Agatha All Along and connect them to video game voice actor performances. If you can get it to me if you need help with clues, the points go lower. You get 2 guesses per clue. So here's where we're going to start the game out.
All right.
Catherine Hahn stars as Agatha Harkness, she's great. Title character of the series, a frequent comedic actor. Her voice acting roles are where the red string starts today. Like pretend you got your board with your strings on. That's where we're going. Catherine Hahn. In 2018, she voices Dr. Olivia Octavius in Into the Spider-Verse. A movie with a mega famous voice actor playing Spider-Man. Can you guess who I'm talking about here? Famous voice actor playing Spider-Man in Into the Spider-Verse?
The guy who plays Nick from New
that's
Girl.
Not correct.
John Mulaney is the one that I'm talking about.
Everyone's of course.
Favorite Spider-Man.
He plays the pig Spider-Man.
He does play Spider-Man. He also plays Big Jack Horner in the amazing film Puss in Boots, which you should watch. If you haven't watched Puss in Boots, it's fucking wonderful.
Oh, I do have Netflix right now for the next week, so maybe I'll watch it.
Check it out. Puss in Boots, a spin-off of the Shrek series. A series featuring the talents of Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona. What video game credit does Cameron Diaz have?
Oh, I'm sure there was a Charlie's Angels game, probably for Xbox and PlayStation 2.
Good God, Chad, congratulations. Give yourself 3 points.
Yes.
It is
Incredible.
Charlie's Angels for the PS2.
Yes.
Am I allowed to guess?
No, you already got it. That's what it is.
That's the only one.
Her only credit is for Charlie's Angels from the PS2.
I would have CG Danny B says in the chat as well. I was going to guess like that's during that period of time where you could have gotten the movie actors to reprise their roles for the video games, and so I was going to say probably a Shrek game. There were a lot of Shrek games back in the day.
She's not in a Shrek game. There are a lot of Shrek games. There's like 10 of them, I think I looked up earlier, but no, she's in Charlie's Angels. You don't need the clues. Chad, put yourself down for 3 points. Next up, and again, chat can play along. Joe Locke is Teen. No spoilers. Don't say what Teen's real name is, everybody. A relatively young actor, one of his major credits is the Netflix show Heartstopper. Kit Connor, the other star of that show, had an appearance on HBO's His Dark Materials. Do I want to talk about the movie The Golden Compass, which is another movie based on that book series? No, that's a bad movie. Let's stay on the HBO show.
I like that movie.
Daphne
Big Bear.
Yeah, I know. The Bear by Ian McKellen's good.
Yeah, he drank alcohol in that one scene.
That's very good. Daphne Keane stars in that His Dark Materials show, also known as X-23 in the Fox universe of Marvel movies. She's the daughter of Hugh Jackman Wolverine / Logan. Give me Hugh Jackman's gaming credit that isn't the mutant character from that movie. Hugh Jackman gaming credit, that's not Wolverine.
Oh. We get two
if you can
guesses
get it on
per
the first
clue,
guess,
right?
2 guesses per clue.
He's got this has to be like one of those like stunt casting instances where like we got to get a big Hollywood actor in our game to rouse up the success, because this game wouldn't be particularly successful or well known if it weren't for them. And so I'm not shooting for the stars here.
Are you going to say
I'm going the other
X-Men?
direction. I don't think this is original. It has to be a licensed game.
You think?
Or
I am
something
going to
that requires
say
Broadway theater. Oklahoma.
I'll just
video
throw
games.
something out. We got to keep this going. Stuntman on the PS2.
Nope, not Stuntman on the PS2. Sorry, Kozi.
Okay.
Any guesses for me,
Damn,
Chad?
all I can think of is the X-Men Origins Wolverine game, but you said it's not Wolverine.
Well, that is correct, but that's not the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah.
He is in that game, but I'm not looking for that. Do you guys need a clue, or do you want to use your one more guess?
I need a clue.
So what I've done for all of these, I have the same set of clues for each one, just because it happens to work out that way. So the first clue, I'm going to give you the developer and the publisher of the video game I'm looking for.
Ooh.
The developer of said game is Sapphire. The publisher is Vivendi Universal.
Wow. Talk about a developer and a publisher that do not exist in the year 2024.
I don't think so.
Now, remember when they were trying to acquire Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any guesses based on those clues, or do you need another one?
I'm going to throw this out here. He starred in Legendary, the oft-forgotten first-person shooter where you fight supernatural monsters from the PlayStation 3 360 era.
Is that really your guess? Did you just pull that out of your ass?
That is really my guess.
No, that's not true, but it was just funny.
Okay, I knew it wasn't going to be that, but I was like, what is something obscure AF that would potentially get me points?
Real Steel, the licensed video game based on the movie.
Yeah, no.
where
Good
he
guess,
fights
but no.
robots. No?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rock'em Sock'em Robot, the movie. You guys both have one more guess, or I can go ahead to our next set of clues. It's up to you.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I got it. I think I figured this out. Chad, here's the thing. I know for a fact that Adam listens to How Did This Get Made?
Damn,
The
got his ass.
podcast
He's got
starring
it.
Jason Mantzoukas, June Diane Rayfield, Paul Scheer. He starred in the video game adaptation of Van Helsing.
Yes, Kozi, you got it. That just
Yes!
happened to be a recent episode of that podcast.
Was he even in that movie?
He's the main character of Van Helsing,
is he?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the main guy, and he was in the video game. Very good. Kozi, yourself 2 points for that one. You needed one clue for it. We're moving on to our last and final cast member. This will, all the marbles, whoever gets this one could potentially tie or win. It's very important, everybody. The last character in 6 Degrees of Agatha All Along is Aubrey Plaza as Rio Vidal. I think it's Vidal. A rival witch and lover, question mark. It's just funny because the Wikipedia says that she plays a rival witch and lover, which I thought was funny. She is. Aubrey Plaza starred alongside Chris Pratt during her time on Parks and Rec, the man that is the butt of jokes when it comes to voice acting. And using him as the final 6 Degrees subject would be very funny. So with that said, we're going to look at his Guardians of the Galaxy co-star, Zoe Saldana. Give me her gaming credit.
Wet. The game Wet
No,
on
Zoe
PS3.
Saldana is not in Wet.
Oh, okay.
The thing is there have been a fair few Avatar games, but I don't think she's in any of the Avatar games.
Are you going to guess Avatar or no?
I mean, I can just throw out guesses. I'm going to just say not the recent Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora, but the Ubisoft developed, I mean, they're both developed by Ubisoft. The Avatar game that came out in 2009 to tie into the original movie's release.
No, it is not. That is funny how they did do 2 Avatar games, though.
Is it Wanted? Video game adaptation of the movie. No, damn.
That is a video game, but she's not in that video game. Yeah.
Okay.
One more for Kozi, or do you want a clue?
Let's go with the clue.
Okay. And again, I have the same set of clues for all of these. So I can give you the developer and the publisher. Developer, Digital Extremes. Publisher, Bandai Namco. Zoe Saldana.
What could this be?
Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, the video game.
Ooh, what a good guess. But no, that's crazy she's in that movie.
Yeah, right? I'm just
It's
trying
like
to think of movies that she's in now that are old enough to where she wasn't big enough to cost a lot of money yet.
Kozi, any guesses from you, or do you want the next clue?
I'm just trying to think of other Zoe Saldana movies.
The Losers. Was there ever a video game made of The Losers?
I'm about to Google that, but no.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. It's Chris Evans, Zoe Saldana,
Losers.
the fucking
2010.
guy.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Idris Elba? Jeffrey Dean Morgan? What is
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's who I was trying to think of. Idris Elba.
Any guesses, Kozi, or do you need the next clue?
Let's go with the next clue.
Okay. The next clue is era and the Metacritic score. This came out in the PS3 360 generation and has a Metacritic of 43.
Oh my god. Well, I was gonna guess a Metal Gear Solid 4 just as a wild, I'm sure Kojima saw in a movie, but no, not 43.
Now we do know the score, so it wasn't received well, but we do know the era, so maybe that helps hone your mind in on it or not.
Is it the Aragon game?
No.
Okay.
Anything from you, Chad? We got Kozi. You got one more.
Is it... I was going to say Reign of Fire, but that was GameCube era. I just got to throw something out. Spider-Man 3.
No, she's not in that movie. That doesn't make any
game.
sense. No, she's not in the game either.
I'm gonna throw out, what's the PS3 Dragon game that Greg Miller always talked about? You had to control
Lair?
the DualShock.
Lair.
Yeah, Lair.
it's
You seen Lair?
No, it's not Lair.
That's a good guess. But that was Factor 5, I want to say.
What
All
was
right, one more guess
okay.
for you, Chad.
What was the other game that you always saw at GameStop that was always there for $8 and no one ever bought it? And it's just the guy with the emo haircut and he has little shirt, hand-sized shurikens. He's gonna throw them or something like that. It's like
This
dark.
isn't a Ninja Gaiden game. Is
No,
it?
no.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's not the game
damn.
with like the boomerang thing that looks like a multi-bladed thing either.
Talking about Dark Sector?
Yeah.
Dark Sector.
Hold on, Dark Sector. Let me see.
I think there's shurikens on the front
That's
cover
the one.
of that.
Yeah, Dark Sector. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, all
That's
that
the
good
game you
knowledge.
always saw at GameStop for like $6 to $8.
So
and
is
no
that
one ever
your is
bought
that
it.
your guess, Chad?
Sure. Yeah, I have no other guesses.
It's not Dark Sector. So I'm going to give
Okay.
you your last clue. Kozi, you need this to tie Chad. Chad, if you get it, you win. So I'm going to give you the genre of the video game and the genre of the tie-in that it is as well. So again, it's from Digital Extremes, Bandai Namco, PS3 360 generation, 43 on Metacritic, features Zoe Saldana. It is a third-person action-adventure sci-fi game.
Okay.
It's not hard, guys. When you're looking at the answer, it's not difficult. Come on.
When you're looking at the answer, it's not difficult. What's
Is
the
it-
Wii shooter where everyone's like, this is gonna make everyone believe in the Wii as a hardcore gaming platform? It's like something that starts with a C.
I was gonna say Speed Racer, but
It's not-
that would not qualify as like an action game. That's probably a racing game.
It's not Speed Racer.
Okay.
That's a free one.
Okay. Thank you. Man. Sector 8.
Conduit. The
No.
Conduit. That was the name of the game.
Conduit. I know what you're
Oh,
talking
the
about.
Conduit. Wow. That's a
Not in the Conduit.
blast from the
No?
past.
Okay.
Not Sector 8 either. I'm going to give you guys both one more chance to give me a guess.
All right.
Again, Digital Extremes, developer, Bandai Namco, publisher, 360 PS3, 43 on Metacritic, third-person action-adventure game, sci-fi would be the genre of the tie-in.
Oh,
Alien
Star
Isolation.
Trek.
It is
Oh, fuck.
Star Trek based on the first movie by J.J. Abrams. Congratulations. You have barely somehow tied up Chad, so there is no winner this week. But I guess we're all winners because Agatha All Along available now on Disney Plus. Agatha All. By the way, so this what I decided to name this, I didn't tell you at the beginning. Agatha All Along: 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is being John Malkovich movie tie-in edition. Every one of these games is a movie tie-in, as we've talked about. So everyone on the cast of Agatha All Along is related to somebody who had a movie tie-in credit. You're welcome.
Love it.
They need to do another one of the Star Trek movies in the Kelvinverse. The first movie was so good, and it was definitely diminishing returns from there, but like they just got to make a fourth one at some point. You got to give Chris Pine work to do.
Chris Pratt, wait a minute.
Chris Pratt does not need more work. He needs less work.
All right, we're going to wrap up with Game On Game Show. The Game On Our Game Show, we play a game called Game On, the gaming show on our game show, game. We've got a returning segment here called GameStop Blackjack. Woo! This is where we, generally we try to like guess trade-in values of games at GameStop in order to reach a certain goal. 21 is usually that goal. But this time we're doing something a little bit different. You have in your attic tubs and tubs of old retro video games.
I do.
And
All
your
legal.
partner, your mom, your dog, whatever it is like, you need to get rid of some of your old shit. We can't have it in the house anymore. So here's the thing. You have to get rid of 5 games from your collection. The goal is you want to keep the stuff that's really valuable. So you have to get rid of 5 things and come in with the lowest amount of money. If your thing does not have value at GameStop, it defaults to $20.
Now, what do we mean by old thing, by the way? What generation are we talking
Something
there?
that is available for trade-in through the retro portal on GameStop.com.
Can you give me generations?
There are 2,849 options in the retro gaming.
Yeah.
We've got Wii
But I'm saying,
in here.
is it like
We've got PS3,
360?
GameCube.
Okay, so that stuff. So like
We've got
PS3 down.
N64. We got PS2.
Okay. So
We've
PS3
got
generation down is what it
Super
sounds like.
Nintendo. Yeah. It looks like PS3
Okay.
generation down. Yeah.
Anything on? Okay, I can do that.
All right. So that's the deal.
But it has to be
And
on the
I will
website,
give you
though,
the
is the problem.
highest value that shows up on the thing, like whether it's the pro, cash, trade-in value, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kozi, since you almost beat me, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself against Adam by going second, because knowing his standing will help you choose your game. Adam, you're going first. What game?
Can you, real quick, can you remind both of us what number we're not supposed to surpass?
We're just trying to be lowest.
You're just trying to be lowest overall. 5 games.
Cool.
You're trying to like get rid of the trash so that your partner's not upset with you, but you still get to keep all the valuable stuff in your attic.
Okay.
So Adam, what is your very first game? We'll reveal, but we'll do your game. We'll reveal the value, and then we'll move on to Alex.
Heavy Steel for the Wii.
Heavy Steel for the Wii. All right.
I think that's what it was on, right? The one where you like we motioned with a sword or whatever.
Oh,
Or is it Red Steel?
it's Red Steel.
Red
It's
Steel,
not
that's
Heavy
what I
Steel.
mean.
Okay.
Chad,
Yeah, I was gonna say
I meant
Heavy
Red
Steel
Steel.
does not show up.
Red Steel.
Red Steel. Let me try that instead.
It still might not be on there, but the game is called Red Steel.
Ooh, there is no value on the US version of GameStop.com for Red Steel.
Rough.
So that defaults to $20 for Adam.
Tough stuff.
Kozi, what is your first guess?
I'm going to go with Gears of War 3 for the 360.
All right, Gears of War 3 for 360. Oh, that is a great thing to call out. If there are multiple versions of this thing on multiple platforms, you do have to give me a platform. Gears of War 3 on the United States version of GameStop.com does not exist.
What?
You can trade in the Crimson Omen Gears controller. You can trade in the JD Phoenix Gears controller, but you cannot trade in Gears of War 3, giving you $20.
This GameStop is very specific in what they're willing to take.
They're like, we have a very niche audience of things that they want, like this limited edition controller that we'll give you $17.60 for, but we're going to resell it for $200 because you can't find that shit anywhere. All right, Adam, what's your second game?
Smash Brothers Melee for the GameCube.
Ooh, Smash Melee.
It's popular enough that people want it, but also there's enough copies it shouldn't be crazy expensive.
Interesting. All right, let's see. Smash Brothers Melee for the GameCube gets you up to $17.60.
I guess that's a good number in this game. I don't know. 2 things have been $17, so I'll take it.
All right, Kozi, second game.
Chad, I apologize in advance, but I'm going to have to cheat with this round. I have not looked up any games in advance
You can't
tonight.
choose the
However,
Gears controllers that I just said.
No, I'm not going to go with that. A few months ago, I did a segment on the Kind of Funny Happy Hour, where I basically had them guess the value of various games that you can find in GameStop.com, not unlike this game, in fact. So thank you for that idea, Chad. And one of the games I had them guess was the value of Pokemon Fire Red, which I know to be kind of high, but not that high. So I'm going to go with Pokemon Fire Red.
Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance gets you $16.50.
That has definitely gone up since I last checked it. It was like at $11 when I last checked it.
Which is so fucking wild because that game does go for over $100 at any place where you go buy used games. So right now, that brings you into the lead by a little bit. So Adam, right now, we're almost halfway through, has $37.60. Kozi, you have $36.50. So you're doing a better job of holding on to what's valuable. Adam's letting it all go. Mm-hmm. Adam, let's redeem yourself. What's your third pick?
Give me that Gears of War controller.
No, you can't use a Gears of War controller.
Oh, come on. So I don't want to just do Nintendo stuff because that's what my mind kind of defaults with the stuff. But let's just go Super Metroid for this SNES.
All right, Super Metroid. Why Super Metroid?
I was trying to think of a Super NES game or SNES, whatever, SNES.
Interesting. This is that weird, like, I want to pick something that's like shitty so that it doesn't get me a lot of money, but also
when it comes to retro, I just need something that is popular enough for them to take it, but there's enough copies that it's not rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Adam, your plan has backfired. This game gets you $24.20. Oh.
I asked for the Gears controller and you wouldn't give it to me, so
that makes sense because Super Metroid back in the day, critically acclaimed, but did not sell exceptionally well. So any copies that exist out there are going to be a little bit pricey.
All right, Alex, can you extend your lead? What is your third game?
I'm going to go with Super Mario Brothers All-Stars for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Mario Bros. All-Stars, a pack-in game.
I think only in Australia. I don't think
Really?
in the United
I
States.
feel like it came with our Wii.
It was Super Mario World that was a pack-in game.
Oh, well, we had All-Stars. I know that. I am... Okay. Whew.
Uh-oh.
So that's why. I typed in Bros, and Bros is not part of the title. It's Super Mario All-Stars. Kozi. You did well, kid. $7.70.
Yes!
That was a good strategy there. So the totals right now, oh, Adam, you've got some catching up to do. You're at $61.80.
Yeah, I hate old
too
stuff.
much
It's
good
fine.
stuff go under the radar. Kozi,
Yeah.
you're at $44.20. You just got to hold on. All right, Adam, this is your penultimate pick. What are we searching for?
God of War 2 for the PS2.
God of War 2 for the PS2. All right. Why that one?
I don't know. It's a PS2 game. There's probably a lot of copies sold. I don't know. I'm trying to be fun, unlike Kozi, who's like, oh, I'll just pick Nintendo over and over again.
Adam?
Mm-hmm.
You did it! $2.20 for God of War 2 on the
Wow.
PlayStation 2.
Nailed his ass.
Incredible.
All right, Kozi. One wrong guess here can put you in a losing position. If you guess something that's not in the store, that's $20, and that puts you higher than Adam.
Oh, how interesting. How interesting. You know what? I'm going to go with a God of War game of my own from
Ooh.
the late PlayStation 3 era. I'm, of course, talking about God of War Ascension.
I knew it before you even finished the sentence. I started typing it. God of War Ascension for the PlayStation 3. God of War Ascension. Spell that right. For the PlayStation 3. Scrolling through.
They don't take it.
Scrolling through.
They don't take it. Give them $20.
Let me type just God of War to see if I just spelled it wrong or if they call it something
No.
different.
You got it right, bud.
God of War brings up no Ascension.
Wow.
$20, Kozi. Oh, how the turntables.
People don't want to ascend. People just don't want to touch the sky.
Adam, you have somehow pulled this out of your ass. You are 20 cents ahead right now with $64 even. Kozi, you're at $64.20. This is a nail biter. Adam, what's your final game?
I'm going to do something really stupid, and it's going to make people mad, but not me. Give me God of War 1 for the PS2.
God of War 1 for the PS2. Why God of War 1?
Because 2 got me $2. I'm hoping 1 doesn't give me much more.
There is a DualShock 4 that will get you $24.20. You can trade in the God of War PlayStation 4 Pro that will get you $84. There's God of War 2 for PS2. There's God of War for PlayStation 4, which gets you $2.75.
It's not retro, though.
But Adam, what may have caused you to win this game is that God of War original on the PlayStation 2 is $2.20.
Oh,
wow.
Let's see.
Incredible.
Let's see.
Oh.
Kozi, you have to find something for $2 or less in order to tie.
Oh, man.
Good luck at
This
GameStop.
is
$2 or
tough.
less to tie or win.
Well,
what do you got?
So here's the thing. My suspicion is I don't think denominations on GameStop.com can go lower than that. Like the way that their whole pricing scheme is set up is like
I have
it's always
seen
at
lower
like $2
prices than that
and
in scrolling.
really?
Yes, I've seen lower
Okay.
prices.
Okay.
It's all on you, bud.
Man, I am gonna go with. It's got to be. I'm thinking in the Wii sphere of things because there
Okay.
has to be something on the Wii that's like, you got like the weird old granny that's like, oh man, I love that game back in the day, and they're still buying it or turning it in, but like nobody is valuing it anything at all high. I'm going to go Ubisoft. You failed many people in this world. Don't fail me now. Just Dance 3.
I'm gonna say which
Just
one?
Dance 3.
Because there's 40 of them.
And you're specifically thinking a Wii one, right?
Yes. This isn't.
Can you refine your answer? Oh no, they are numbered. Okay.
They're not years, they're numbered.
And you are specifically thinking the Wii one.
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
He said it multiple times, Chad.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, I didn't
I'm
even type it
locking
here. You have until I finish typing it here. Just Dance 3.
I mean, here's the thing. If I lose this, it's Ubisoft's fault, not me.
That's true. All right. Just Dance 3 on the Wii does not exist. Just Dance 3 on the Xbox 360 gets you 1 cent.
Wow.
Yep. Had you chosen the Xbox 360 version, you would have.
I'm not happy that I lost, but that is a great twist ending to this game.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll take it.
Shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
That is
Rough.
wild.
Hate to see it.
Well, what do you think
Love to
that
watch it
1
walk away.
cent is worth? Like, what is it that makes that game worth a cent more than the Wii version?
Because they can recycle the plastic easier.
I was going to say, recycle the plastic or reuse that box for a game that doesn't have a box.
Yeah, or the trophies. Maybe there's someone out there that's like, we got to value it a little bit more because you can get trophies in Just Dance 3.
I paid $1 one time for a Destiny 2 boxed copy at GameStop because after it went free to play.
Free to play,
because
yeah.
I wanted
still
the
buy
box for something that was busted. Yeah, I think it was my Farpoint game was busted because I only had 2 games. It was either Anthem or Farpoint. Yeah. Also, Just Dance 2022 on the Xbox Series X, $1.65. Just Dance 2016 on the PS3, $1.65.
They just don't give a fuck about Just Dance games.
Just
well,
Dance.
because there's so many of them, probably. Yeah.
Well, there surprisingly. Hold on, I typed in Just Dance 3 specifically. Let me just type in Just Dance. Not the word dance, but Just Dance. Oh yeah. Just Dance. If you would have done Just Dance 1, you would have got $1.65 on the Wii.
Wow.
Yeah. But every other Wii Just Dance is over. Those are the most expensive ones. Yeah, the 770, 550, 550. Yeah. Wii's popular.
All those grandmas coming into GameStop to buy it.
Oh,
Just
yes,
Dance.
Dance gonna
They're
be
charging them out the
okay.
ass.
Da 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 do.
Well, that's it for Game On Game Show, and that is it for episode 371 of Respawn Aim Fire. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You have homework. Your homework is in triplicate, quadruplicate, maybe. First one, go to patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire. You have, for the next 2 weeks, exclusive access to our RAF episode that we did. I think I have Alzheimer's or dementia or something.
Me, you, and
I
John.
know it's Rafferty. What was it? What? Oh, John Hansen was there. I was like,
Yeah.
what happened on that show? Who was there? What did we do? That's with John Hansen. There's a category maybe called Bald as a Baby on it. Talk like a pirate. Games that start with the letter 1. The letter 1. Games with 1. It's not enough.
And
like
with
it's
the
a fun
letter
time.
1, actually.
Obviously, very memorable. Check that out. That is on Patreon right now for the next 2 weeks for members only, and then everyone else gets access on November 1st. So you have that exclusive access. You also get to vote on what barf games that we play each month. You all have voted on Patreon as well as Twitter, though Twitter has a much lower weight. You voted for the month of October for us to play. What was it again? John Wick Hex was the game that we ended up with. John Wick Hex is what we're playing. 8 hours on how long to beat. So if you play it this month and you would like to submit your thoughts on the game for us to read on the show, you can do that through various forms. Respawninfire@gmail.com. Tweet at us, DM us, text us, shout it into a bottle and throw it in the ocean.
And
if you want to be on the show,
hint.
you can do that too. You can say, hey, I want to be on the show, and we'll figure out a date that works, and we'll do that all with you. And also, Alex has a hint about something.
FYI, I might be working on a new installment of Rafferty coming at the beginning of next month. So you can look forward to that as well.
Well, you might be or you are, because that's important information to know for us as the heads of the company.
Already confirmed it to you via text. So I just said I
You want
might
to just
be
tell the
for
listeners
dramatic
about
effect.
it, though? You want to tell them what's in our text chain?
I mean, we can talk about the fact that you were pooping ahead of the show.
I was not pooping.
He was peeing out of his long
with
penis, and it took a
very
long
large
time
penis.
for the pee to
Yes.
get out of the penis.
We talked about this already.
We also, so you get to vote on Barf coming up soon. we have a special thing that we do for Barf every year where the last 2 months of Barf polls is actually one big game of the year poll. So for each of us, we'll have a separate poll saying, we have to play some games that came out this year in consideration for Game of the Year. Which ones do you want us to prioritize? So that responsibility is coming up in just a couple weeks. So make sure you're a patron there so you can go and tell us what you want us to hear or what you want us to consider for Game of the Year. You also are going to twitch.tv/CozyBear Live to watch Kozi cook 3 more weeks worth of food for Kozi Bear's Cooking.
Correct. And you can also tune into youtube.com/@CozyBearLive as well, because I multi-stream to both platforms, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every upcoming Wednesday, including this upcoming Wednesday, the 16th of October.
Dope. And you're also going to twitch.tv/AdamGumby to watch and play some, what are we playing recently? Marvel Rival? No, not Marvel Rivals. Marvel
Well, it's going to be
Snap?
Marvel Rival soon. But Snap, yeah, a lot of Snap recently. Might play some Hex on there, John Wick Hex, because it's our barf game. But yeah, a lot of Marvel Snap, having a good time.
Yeah, go over there and just drop them a Twitch sub. And if you don't want to do that, do a follow.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, just go watch it and just leave your computer there on his stream. You can mute it if you want to.
Yeah, the tab, not the stream.
Yeah. That's it. Was that the triplicate that we wanted to talk about? Oh, and then go watch Final Fantasy VII Rebirth spoiler chat. If you beat Rebirth, which I know is like 3 people in the world. If you haven't, though.
Yeah. We're among the 3, which means that one of the 4 people on that podcast did not beat it.
It was Jerica. She didn't beat it.
It's probably Kyle. All that shit he told us where we didn't understand what was going on. He just made all that shit up at the end. He has no idea. All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. I gotta pee right now too, but it might not take as long for the pee to go through my penis.